So above the little squiggly line, those are the typical simultaneous problems that we've had so far. This one is not too different, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to approach this one is that I'm going to try to always solve for y, put a value in for the y, and then I might have a polysolve. Okay, if I can get all x's, then I might have a polysolve. Okay, so y is equal to x squared. I know this. So in this equation, what can I put right there? X squared. And guess what I have? A polysolve. All I did was put in the x squared here. I just rearranged it, moved the 6 over. Yes?
Could you also just move the x and do 6 minus x? And
Yeah,
then x
it would have been the same thing. Yeah, you could have moved that and got y, and then you set those equal. Yeah. There's going to be several different paths to these. Okay. Take out your calculator, do polysolve for me, and tell me what x equals and x equals. Okay, yeah. 2 and that's right. 2 and negative 3. Now, I also want the y values. You must give y values. So, all I have to do is look back up here, and I have y equals x squared. So, what's the y value for 2? 4. What's the y value for negative 3? 9. So I have an x, I'm storing that into here and getting the resulting y. Any questions on this one? All right, turn the page. This is the next one, and it gets a little bit in depth, but it's not awful. Give you a second to write it down. Okay, there's a lot going on here. A lot. And so I definitely don't want to try to solve for x or y this equation, do I? No, that's a mess. I told you I would try to solve for y here, put it in here, so I have all x's on one side. Okay? So I'm going to get up, and I want to create some energy. So how am I going to solve for y over here? I'm sorry. What am I going to do? Subtract the 2x. So that gives me negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now what? Divide by negative 3. So y is equal to 2/3 x minus 1. You have to get one variable in terms of another. So this is what y is equal to. So guess what? Everywhere there's a y, I'm going to put 2/3 x minus 1. And I better put it in parentheses. I'll give you just a minute. All I did is solve for y, which you should be able to do, then I'm putting in place of y in the top equation. Now, you better have your calculators ready. So right here, I'm going to do x squared equals, x squared. Oh, I'm thinking. Now, minus, what is 2 times 2/3? 4/3. X times x. Negative times negative is positive. 2x times 1 is 2x. Now, we need to talk about this one right here. I'm going to underline this in red because there are a lot of dangers right here. Who can tell me a mistake that could be made at this point? A mistake. Okay, not squaring. How can people do that? What is the mistake that they would do? All right, distribute the 3 first, because, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally says parentheses. Well, that doesn't mean this. That means if you have 2 minus 3 or something, you can combine them. Exponents now, and then multiplication. So we don't do 3 times this and 3 times that and then square it. Very good. Now, what's another mistake? What does it mean to square something? Multiply it by itself. So, if I did this, trying to square that 2/3 x minus 1, did I square it correctly? Because it says 2/3 x minus 1 squared. So I squared the 2/3 x and I squared the minus 1. I have to FOIL. Because remember, the definition of squaring is multiplying by itself. So, I don't make a mistake. I'm going to write it out like that. Equals 6. Now, I'm going to go ahead I'm going to FOIL first. So everybody FOIL with me. If you want to use your calculators, use your calculators. 2/3 times 2/3 is what? 4/9. X times x is x squared. Use your calculator if you need to. What's 2/3 x times -1? Okay. What's -1 times 2/3 x? What's -1 times -1? Okay. Now, guys, this is long, but not one part of this is something you haven't had before. And dang, doesn't that look impressive? Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and I'm going to distribute the 3 now. That becomes 4/3 x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 3. Now all we have to do is combine like terms. All right, I have a negative 4/3 x squared and a positive, so I can cancel those out. They go to 0. So that leaves me one x squared term, right? This one? Okay. Plus 2x minus 2x What can I use for this? Polysol, go ahead. Three, -2? Or do I have my signs backwards? I mean, one, I'm sorry. -1, 3. Okay, what am I missing here that I have to get? The y. Do I have an equation for y in green? So store 3 as x. And type in 2/3 x minus 1. I believe the y with that is 1. Okay. Store -1 as x. Okay. Now, let me stop. We're going to check this in just a minute, but let me stop and see where there are questions because we did a lot of work. So we solved for y, and we just strictly plugged it in wherever there was a y. Correct? Everybody's okay with that? Then I distributed here, and I wrote this out so I would not forget to FOIL it. Then I strictly FOILed, which you can do in your calculator. I know it's fractions, but you can do it on your calculator. And then I multiplied by 3. Then I combine like terms. So where are your questions? Don't worry, Monday we're going to practice this because we're going to run out of time today. But Monday we're going to practice. Okay, so no questions, at least no questions right now until we practice on our own. Yes, ma'am.
So for the negative, on the -2/3 x right there, you couldn't like combine those.
You could have.
Okay.
You could have gotten -4/3 x and then multiplied by the 3. Yep, absolutely.
And with that, because that's what I've been asking about, how do you then X that out? Like, you wouldn't have the -2.
All right, you would have multiplied the 3 times -4/3 and got 4 x. And 2 and -4x, there's your -2x. What other questions? Okay, take your calculators, store 3 for x and 1 for y. You just keep, after x, you hit again and it's y. So 3 store is x. 1 store is y. You just hit it twice. Addison, did you find the y on that one? All right. Wasn't sure about the other one that you had, but I'm not sure who has taught y'all to store x, y's, a, b, c's, and all that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top up here, and we're going to type in x squared minus 2xy plus 3y squared, and we should get 6. We should also, it has to work in both, guys. It can't work in one. If it works in one and doesn't work in the other, it's not a solution. 2x minus 3y should equal 3. Okay. Then you can always go back down and check the other ones. The -1, -5/3. So once you have them in there, it's easy to check a second pair. Okay, so I'm gonna let you do one on your own, and it's not as tough as this one. So turn to page 61. And I want you to do 1A. Page 61, 1A.